Good morning and welcome to Purpose Driven Finances, where our focus is helping you use your finances to achieve the purpose and plan for your life. And now here's the host of Purpose Driven Finances, Allan Malina with Serwus Capital Management.
Hey, good morning. This is Allan Malina, your host, Purpose Driven Finances, President, Serwus Capital Management. Hope you're having a glorious weekend, enjoying the cold temperatures, but it's still getting up nicely during the day. Just the kind of day to rake your leaves or watch college football. Sitting here with my best co-host, my friend Rich Roth. How you doing, man?
You know, mentioning raking leaves gave me a little trauma.
No kidding. I've never seen your house. Do you have a lot of leaves?
I do. Yeah, we're kind of right smack dab in the middle of the woods.
Oh wow.
So we do get a lot of leaves. I'm not a raker anymore. I'm a blower. Have a couple. It makes it good, but like last week, I mowed, right?
Yeah.
Because the week before, I blew all the leaves, cleared everything off, and said, there's going to be a couple more, right, before they're all down. So rather than blowing, it's easy to just mow and mulch if there aren't too many.
Exactly.
So I did that last Saturday or Sunday. And by the time I was done, the yard was covered again.
Oh, my word.
And it was, my wife came home from shopping and she's like, I thought you were going to do this. And I'm just like, don't get me started. It lasted literally less than an hour. Like that was a wasted time.
Oh, yes.
Very frustrating.
I when we moved from Spout Spring, we had a house similar to that. That big, giant, mature oaks and tulip poplar. We moved in November, and no kidding, it was probably halfway up to my knee. So I feel your pain.
Well, and, the thought was there are still a ton on the trees. So, but it'll be probably Thanksgiving before, they're all down. So I'm like, and blowing them all, it just takes forever. It can take hours.
I'm not going to help you because you're a problem-solving guy. But with me, what I end up doing is just trying to use physics with a lawnmower and getting it to cut and blow it. And I ended up creating islands.
Well, you have a sweeper now, don't you?
I do have a sweeper.
How's that?
It works really good.
Yeah. And that you hooked to your mower.
It did.
Your tractor.
Hooked to my zero turn. And the problem is it says no more than 5 miles an hour. And my zero turn goes 10. So it's flying down there. And things are missing it. Because the main reason I got it was for...
acorns, right?
Walnuts.
Walnuts, okay.
Good memory, though. And because I live in the middle of a field, and, it used to be a pasture. Now, it's got, thick hay, and especially if I don't mow it as much as people want me to. I live in a subdivision, but I'm kind of outside of the subdivision, so, people aren't going to complain.
Right.
And our HOA is defunct, so it doesn't really matter.
Does it get the walnuts, though?
It does.
It does, okay.
It gets the gravel because Pam, she's very concerned about people coming over and there's like 200 walnuts in the driveway. She's like, we don't need a lawsuit, honey. So I do a disclosure.
Here's a broom.
Right.
Sorry, Pam.
I do a disclosure. There's walnuts, so watch out.
Yeah, beware of walnuts.
But we had some friends over, and I got the rake out, and but no, the sweeper works great. It's just 2 bolts on the right side fell out, and I still haven't fixed it. So it's a pain, but it's just one of those things. But Rich, what I wanted to talk about today is the first segment is, of course, portfolios and what's happening, end of this year and then going into next year. And then we're going to wrap up the Virginia election. And I took really 2 topics and squeezed it into one because last week I ran through it. You didn't get to say much, and I just ran through it. And
it's all right.
And like a friend of mine said, not every show's a home run. But that being said, let's do the economic outlook. And Rich, we always talk about the quads. And what's exciting is the government is finally back in doing their thing, which you remember what Reagan said about the government.
Yes.
If they're coming here, to help, that's not a good thing. That was a very loose paraphrase.
I'll tell you what, I didn't remember how funny Reagan was.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff like if I'm on social media, Twitter, or I'll even do Instagram a little bit just to scroll through stuff. But you get to some of his stories, they're hilarious.
They are.
I mean, he was such an engaging guy.
He was. I wish, and he would cut down, like, I don't know if you remember when he would talk, someone said that he was in a debate with, I think, Mondale.
Yeah.
And he was like, "What about your inexperience?"
They were ripping on Reagan because of his age.
Right?
Are you too old? Can you handle this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he threw it back on Mondale. Right. He goes, "I don't think we should make an age part of this. I'm not going to bring up the fact that Mondale, doesn't have the experience."
Right?
Yeah,
right.
It was but even Mondale laughed.
He did. He
right?
did.
I mean, it's like everybody laughed, and we're now in a place politically where, I mean, shooting people, and I mean, just everything. It's just
horrible.
It is. It's sad.
Horrible.
It's sad.
And then it comes out the government shutdown was really political theater in order to try to get Trump and the Republicans to cave.
Didn't work.
And no, it didn't. And so it's going to be very interesting. But because of all the data coming out slow, and even some of the data that they said that they would not come out with, is going to be a hindrance to actually forecasting or actually to know what the economy did. What's going to end up happening is some of the data isn't going to come out, or it may not come out until real late. So it's going to be almost useless to use. Mm-hmm. But the data is slowing, and a lot of that is unemployment. And there's been a very hard time to know of how the illegal immigrants and how their lowering of their employment is really affecting the economy, because it really has never been done in America to get rid of illegal immigrants, or they're getting out of the workforce, and then the natural born citizens going up, And so there's some consternation around there, but also the economy slowing a little bit and inflation slowing a little bit. So we're in a quad 3 in November and a quad 4 in December. Quad 4 is, and I'm not saying deep quad 4, it's right on the line. And so you're really looking at slowing growth, slowing inflation. And so realistically, you need to take a defensive tone. And a lot of folks who are listening to me have a financial advisor. And if you look at your portfolio, you haven't changed your mutual funds for 4 or 5 years. So really, this conversation doesn't matter to you. It should, but it doesn't. But it really deals with the people with the 401ks. I met with a client yesterday. Their 401k has never invested their money. And they continuously contact the company and say, "Hey, can you fix this?" And they're not doing anything. So folks, I'm willing to help and reach out. My suggestion is, in your 401k, reach out to me and let me help you manage appropriately the coming quads and the quarters. And that way you can adjust your portfolio to what we expect to come down the road. And we have really good pack tests to doing that. Now, enough bad news, Rich, about the quad 4. What's exciting is quad 1 in the first quarter of next year, which means growing economy, slowing inflation. And so that's going to be a great time for, party like it's 1999, increase risk. Because right now, the average portfolio, we've really reduced risk in our portfolios. Thursday, we still went down a little bit, but the NASDAQ at one point was down almost 2.5% on Thursday. And I'm expecting weakness probably to continue a little ways, because we've had a decent run up from the February lows, and we need to cool down a little bit. And so next year, what's going to happen is it's going to be a very strong environment for equities, tech, industrial, small cap, and quality. And so you get out of those areas that are more defensive. But right now, you want to be in those defensive areas. And so inflation is expected to start dropping and probably hit 2.9, 2.85. Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing. And I also heard that Walmart has come out that said that Thanksgiving is 25% less than last year.
As far as what?
Cost.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
So that's a benefit.
Meaning Thanksgiving dinner?
Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe you eat 25% more. I don't know. What's your favorite Thanksgiving dinner or food?
I like the sides. I mean,
So do I.
turkey's fine, but you're gonna give me mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, and stuffing, and rolls,
Oh yeah.
and I'm good.
Oh, what kind of green bean
just
casserole?
carb load. Just do a lot of carb
Right.
loading.
What kind of green bean casserole?
With the fried onions on
Oh
top.
yes. Yeah, that's a fan favorite.
Yep.
I love that. And my grandmother made some macaroni and cheese, and hopefully Pam made some the other day. The doggone cheese did not melt on top. What the heck? I mean, she even cooked it like an extra 20 minutes, and the cheese did not melt. What the heck, man?
Some things just, it's just if grandma made it.
Right.
My mom used to make something with the exact same recipe that my grandmother made it, and it just wasn't quite the same.
It wasn't.
We talked about the pot because she had one of those old steel, that it kind of, it got broken in over years.
Exactly.
And,
just
all
a great
that
memory. Yeah, exactly. Now, the one thing I do like is cranberry sauce in a can. Open it up and slide it out and just chop it up, I like that.
And then someone shows up with fresh cranberry, like homemade cranberry sauce. And you're like, no, give me the other one.
Exactly.
See, my boys love stovetop stuffing.
Oh, yeah,
they don't want homemade, right? And I'm kind of there with them.
Exactly.
Homemade with all the stuff in them.
Yeah.
I don't want grapes in my stuffing.
Or celery? What the heck, man? What the heck? and people come up with a cranberry sauce, and they have nuts in it.
Yeah.
And whole cranberries. I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to eat a salad.
Right.
What is this? No way. It's horrendous. But folks, look at your portfolio and give me a call at 434-316-0246. I want to help you achieve the purpose and plan for your life. And my number one suggestion, not number one suggestion, I got all kinds of suggestions, is avoid chasing narratives. Because the problem with narratives is you normally know about the narratives after the event has occurred. And so once you know what's going on, it's usually not the best time to invest. Rich, I heard that you ever heard of Real, Rich?
Heard of what?
Real.
Real.
It's a stock. It's a company.
Okay.
What they do is they take luxury goods, validate them, and sell them at a discounted price. The company is booming.
For example?
Rolexes.
Okay.
What's that really expensive bag? It's like $20,000 a bag. The ladies out there who they know it.
Oh, like Gucci or something like that.
No, it's even higher end than that.
Okay. Well,
they actually will sample the DNA of the bags,
and then they'll sell it for a discount.
Well, because what happens is they're used.
Okay.
And what I mean by this is not, people with a $200 or a $500 driver. These are people who have spent $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 on an item. The high end stuff that's above my pay grade. And what this past week, in one day, their price went up 36% of their stock because it's going so well. And I heard that an analyst was short the stock, and they were feeling some pain afterwards because they said it's never been at over a 30 PE ratio. 30 PE ratio is the price to earnings.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I share that is, folks, that's a narrative. That's a story. That's not empirical data. That's when someone feels something or cares about something, it doesn't make it true. And so when it comes to your portfolio, have a process that is refined, that is measurable, repeatable, and will actually grow and protect your portfolio. Folks, we're going to go to a break, and about a minute break. And when you come back, we're going to talk about Virginia policy, the impact of vehicles, energy, and emissions, and something you've probably never heard of, RGGI. Is that how you pronounce it?
We'll see.
We'll see. Come back.
Information you want, truth you demand. It's Brian Kilmeade.
How about saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene has got a butch body? Congratulations on that. Just tell me, who do you want to lead with those words? That gets traction because a lot of people think it's totally idiotic and stupid. There's so many legitimate issues going on here: the cost of living, cost of housing, cost of wages, a trade war. So what makes you think that in politics you should avoid talking about that stuff?
The Brian Kilmeade Show, weekday mornings from 9 to noon on WLNI.
This is Chainsaw Talk with Tommy, the Woodsman. Do ladders and tree work mix? A quick internet search will give you the answer. Ladies, if you see your man carrying a ladder and a chainsaw towards your tree, just go ahead and dial 911. There is a reason professional tree companies don't use ladders. When the tips of the branch hit the ground first, they will compress, creating a spring. Unfortunately, this energy is redirected back towards the cut end of the branch and can take the ladder right out from under him. Stick around for more great tips from Tommy, the Woodsman. I have a saw for that.com.
And now, back to Purpose-Driven Finances. Here's Allan Malina with Serwus Capital Management.
Hey, good morning, folks. This is Allan Malina, your host, Purpose-Driven Finances, president of Serwus Capital Management. Hope you're having a great time of this morning, relaxing, and hopefully have some good, fun things to do. Rich Roth, my co-host, we're sitting here, and we're going to be talking about the Virginia policy impact, the butt-whooping the Democrats put on the Republicans. Rich, you know what I heard? And I'm trying to verify this, but trying to get the data is kind of frustrating for me. Is I heard that the Republicans, the biggest issue we had is they didn't turn out. That's the biggest issue. And even the Democrats didn't turn out as much as they did, but the Republicans really didn't turn out. And so, I mean,
I saw an interesting stat talking about the elections here in Virginia, but also New Jersey.
right.
And the only category that the Democrats won in both Virginia and New Jersey were white, college-educated women.
Mm-hmm.
And they won that demographic so overwhelmingly that, because they lost the other ones.
Right.
White, non-college educated
Right.
women, white college educated men, white non-college. They lost all those. But they won so dramatically, white college educated women, that put them over the top.
Right. And I think the reason there is because they are trying to be compassionate on the various issues. But the issue that I have is, when they say that the government, we should be here to take care of the illegal aliens. But the problem is, it's not the government's, in my belief system, it's not the government's mandate to help people. It should be mine. It should be you. I'm just
charities, churches.
Right. It's not, the government should protect and, do what they do, but not help people in that situation. Now, I understand that the reason why the U.S. government started doing it is from an economical standpoint, it's better to pay people rather than have them in poverty and stealing and killing and things such as that. But in some localities, they still do it. But that being said, the Virginia policy, the impact that we're talking about, last week we went over a whole lot of stuff. But today we're talking about vehicles, energy, and emissions. And from what I understand, the Democrats, they're going to try to bring back the 2035 EV rule. And the 2035 EV rule is gasoline vehicles sales are phased out. And that means that all cars are EV, electric vehicles that are new, that are sold after 2035. I have some clients that are in the auto mechanical, they're auto technicians, several companies that, they're my clients. And so I've been talking to them, and what they're trying to do, I've been told by them that they're trying to pass laws that make it to where they can hide things and only the dealers actually can work on the vehicles, which is a major problem because some dealerships, there's a long wait in order to get things worked on.
Right.
And so in 10 years, if all these EV vehicles out there are not doing very well, and you have a long line, can you imagine saying, hey, we're going to fix your car in 3 weeks? What are you going to do? And then the other issue I have is you're on the road traveling a bunch to see your kids. Like I've shared, you're a great dad. Can you imagine trying to go to Delaware or North Carolina or South Carolina in an EV and having to stop for 2 hours to charge your car?
No.
And imagine when it's cold. It's going to take even longer. What are you going to do?
Wouldn't be a big deal if there were a bunch of Buc-ee's around.
Exactly.
That place is tremendous.
It is. Have you been to the one up there at Mount Crawford?
I have not. I've only been to, there's one on 95 in South Carolina,
okay.
I think, right as you cross into South Carolina. And that's the only one I've been to.
Yeah.
But holy cow.
Right. I'll probably be going to the next month to the one at Mount Crawford. But, yeah, I haven't been. But here's what's going to happen is the used car effect, those car prices are going to go up. And the reason being is people are not going to want to, I don't want an EV to try to travel.
Mm.
Pam and I, we like to go antiquing, as you know.
Oh, I know.
But I also like to go fly fishing, or I like to go to Yellowstone. I can't imagine taking an EV and every 400 miles having to stop. And then another thing I thought about is instead of we're driving by and we're seeing the price of unleaded gas, it went up a little bit. I had a listener. He contacted me, and we had a friendly wager of where it was going to go.
Mm.
And he said $3, and it missed it by a nickel. But I think it's going to come back down because I think they're in the transition phase. I didn't take that into account. But what's interesting is you're going to have to take a lot more time to go on a long trip if that actually goes into place. I don't think it'll happen because there's some issues. But also fleet and trucking. Do you remember what's his name? Elon Musk?
I do.
He came out and said that he was going to have a big rig within a year, and it's been like several since then. And the issue you have is the amount of batteries that you would have on a big rig in order to create that. Have you ever ridden in the Tesla truck?
No.
Do you like them?
The way they look?
Yeah.
No.
They're interesting. I don't know if I like them or don't like them. There's one driving around Lynchburg that it's black wrapped, which I think is a little bit better looking. But it reminds me of my kids in kindergarten. That being said, they did a test of driving up a mountain out west. Same payload with like an F-250. The Tesla truck.
The Cybertruck?
The Cybertruck, it beat it. I mean, hands down. But guess what? Top of the mountain, it was out of electricity. I mean, not dead.
That's like turtle in the hair, right?
Right.
Right? It's like, okay, you got off to a great start,
right.
But when you stop to charge, I'll wave as I drive by you.
And so what they had to do is bring up a generator.
Oh, wow.
In order to get the truck back down.
Oh, my goodness.
So, it decimated. it flew up it. But they had to get a charger to go up top. And so that's some issues. Now, you're a smart guy. How do you pronounce RGGI? Riggy. Right. What I expect is that the state of Virginia is going to bring back the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative.
What's that?
I think it has to do with cows farting. I joke about AOC, but realistically, what it is, it's a multi-state carbon trading platform, and basically it includes New York, Maryland, Delaware, and expected Virginia. And basically what it does is it puts a cap on how much carbon dioxide power plants are allowed to emit. And so what they do is they have to buy carbon credits in order to offset it. Like on my property, I probably have a good 2 acres of wetland. I could probably sell that wetland carbon credits to my power company and get some money or something for it. But the theory behind it is we need to offset it by how many plants or trees we plant or something. The biggest issue is it's going to have utility pass through, and it's going to make your electricity, my electricity go up. And so it's my expectation that if they do have all these EV vehicles, then instead of $2.95 a gallon equivalent, it'll be $3 and $4. Because, if you go to Buc-ee's and you have 20 people recharging their vehicles, and then they're like, uh-oh, our electric bill just went up. All they have to do is change it, and the amount it costs in order to recharge your vehicle goes up. And so that's and then there's going to be more charging, EV charging, which is going to be an issue. And, the tax revenues may fund green projects, but I don't know how you feel about the green projects, but I think they're horrible. And they've been proven that a lot of the windmills, it takes more energy in order to create them and to dispose of them, go from there.
And then what they do to the environment, right?
Exactly.
The whales and the sharks and the fish and
the bald eagles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, it's so disappointing driving through Pennsylvania and you see the mountaintops and there's all these windmills. And some of them are turning, some of them aren't. But what does it really mean to people? That's your, I'm stealing your question.
That is my big question.
Yeah,
what always is.
Right.
What does this mean for people and their portfolios?
Exactly. So manufacturing, it's going to be higher cost. If you're trying to build a house with all these regulations, it's going to be my expectation. It's going to be even more expensive. And I'm going from a negative. Then we'll see how your portfolio can invest in it. So materials, there's going to be a rising demand: lithium, copper, nickel. So miners, inflationary, are going to be, those commodities are going to go up in value. So we've talked about having, the various minerals that I just discussed: copper, mineral, lithium. Have those miners or even those things in your portfolio. You can do it through an ETF. Infrastructure. What's going to end up happening is companies that actually create the charging stations or the technology behind them, the battery storage and the grid monitors, modernizing the grid is going to be a way to invest. Even if you're a small business and you say, hey, I want to be able to install underground networks, cables and power lines, it's probably a way to make some money. And then inflation, it's going to add inflation to the overall cost. So how can families take advantage of it and protect? One, you're going to have to budget more and realize that some of the Democratic policies, or a lot of them, are going to cause greater costs, which is a joy, isn't it? It's just
a joy, yes, a joy.
Just thank you so much. But also, if you get an EV, you're going to have to actually get it installed in your house. I'm a little ignorant when it comes to what needs. I'm expecting that you don't just plug a 120 into your car. You probably need a 220.
Yeah, there's a special setup that you need. Yep.
And so that's a little extra.
Yep.
Because have you ever done electrical work?
Nope.
It's exciting when you do 220 because you're like, am I going to die right now?
I guess that could get the juices flowing.
Yeah, I was changing a socket in my boy's bedroom. It was broke, or they broke it somehow, and they were right beside me, and they nudged me, and I hit both polarities, sparks. They jumped back. It was kind of exciting. So you don't want to mess with the 220 because you can die. It's not a fun thing. But small businesses, when you build or adjust, you need to model energy cost scenarios. You need to explore tax credits and improve efficiency. It's going to be my expectation that the state of Virginia is going to offer more rebates. They're going to offer more tax incentives in order for you to do things to your home, in your car, in order to lower the bills from utility companies. And then finally, focus on companies that have scalable green technologies. One thing that I would suggest looking into is waste companies. Waste companies that can actually take all of the things we've just talked about and reuse them and make them into something that can be used again. Folks, this is Allan Malina, your host of Purpose Driven Finances. Give me a call at 434-316-0246. Hope you have a blessed weekend.
Returns for illustrative purpose. This is not a suggestion to buy, sell, or use a platform. Only will a suggestion occur after a meeting to determine goals, risk tolerance, and time horizons. Investments involve risks and no guarantee of future results.